Hello everyone, my name is Ashutosh and in today's video I will be reviewing the 4th episode of House of the Dragon. The title of this episode is King of the Narrow Seas. Now even though I have read the source material, I was still a bit confused as to is this name related to Lord Corlys as he has connection with the seas, but to my surprise it was Daemon Targaryen. This is the second time an episode has been named after him. The first time was the title of the second episode, The Rogue Prince. Daemon is now back in King's Landing with a fresh title, King of the Narrow Seas, wearing a pretty weird crown. But with all the flaunt, he still bends his knee to King Viserys and the whole room erupts in applause. Just like Daemon, Rhaenyra is also back from her tour her father had arranged to meet prospective suitors, and quite evidently they all sucked. Furthermore, we see a sense of happiness on Rhaenyra's face after Daemon's arrival. All these years, she has been in solitude and anger due to her father's decisions and an irreparable crack left in a friendship with Alicent. Therefore, her happiness on Daemon's arrival seems justified. She feels a sense of freedom in Daemon with the need to create her own alliance when push comes to shove. Later in the episode, when Alicent confronts her with the accusation regarding her exploits with Daemon, she denies it and swears on her mother's memory, which can be interpreted as her taking a side with Daemon. A subtle way of opposing the king while also expressing her feelings for Alicent. Her solitude does stem from that very fact. As I had discussed in the previous episode reviews as well, it is clear that Alicent is only in this relationship due to her father's intentions. And we see it more clearly when she stares dead-eyed at the ceiling while Viserys has his way with her, his bare back covered with thorn-inflicted wounds. Alicent has been the most kindest person in this series so far. But what the future holds, we are yet to witness. After watching this episode, I realized that this title had no significant value to the events that happened in this episode. The key moment of this episode was undoubtedly the one where King removes Sir Otto from his position of the hand. But the events that led up to it were a bit too queer. While at the start, when Daemon acts as a good and well-wishing brother in disguise, by the end of this episode he becomes the worst person in the eyes of the king and brother Viserys, when he does a thing with Rhaenyra. The people who have read Fire and Blood might have already expected this, as in the books, Rhaenyra has a thing with both Sir Criston Cole as well as Daemon, just like what happened in this episode. Even though they both seem to kind of enjoy it, it seems that Daemon even ironically has some boundaries that he does not want to cross. Despite of what Daemon and Rhaenyra did, it seemed that Daemon wanted to somewhat free Rhaenyra from the confines of the keep and to show her what lies in the streets beyond luxury and comfort. Now, if it was his true intention or just a means to show his affection towards her is something worth discussing. We already had a glimpse of Criston and Rhaenyra's subtle liking towards each other in the previous episode, but it reaches its peak in this episode, and now how it will proceed would be an interesting to watch. I had been discussing briefly about Sir Otto's intentions and subtle political maneuverings in all the previous episode reviews, and it finally reached a probable end in this episode when he confronts the king about Rhaenyra's exploits with her uncle, Daemon. Even though I did feel that he did the right thing from the perspective of the hand, I still felt good when he was banished from his role. But the fact which remains is that now the things might just worsen when it comes to Alicent and Rhaenyra's friendship, which wasn't in a good condition anyways, just like Sir Otto Hightower and King Viserys' relation. We did not see Corlys in this episode, but we do get a mention of him being referred as Sea Snake. This also leads to the council members discussing about a political alliance with him. After which, the king proffers the name of Laenor Velaryon to Rhaenyra. As I had discussed in the previous episode review as well, that this wedding can surely help in restabilizing the relations between the two historical Valyrian houses. Talking about King Viserys, he is still struggling through a lot. In the previous episode as well, we saw him sitting and drinking wine and then proceeding to kill the captured heart, which just shows that somewhat he is exhausted by his position and the decisions that come with it. He is undoubtedly the most confused character in the whole show so far, as all his actions are not completely stemmed from his own perceptions, but from that influence he has been deriving from all the people surrounding him. Furthermore, at the end of this episode, when he sends the maester with the tea for Rhaenyra, it portrayed that the king knows his daughter very well and has been sensing an upcoming danger. But this is the last thing Rhaenyra needs right now, as it will only exacerbate her mistrust and anger towards her father. which can lead to a potential revolt. There was almost no violence in this episode except the surprising scene at the start. Similarly, there was only one dragon scene when Daemon arrives on Caraxes. All this makes me think that the creators are sowing seeds for something bigger that is going to happen in the rest of the episodes. I think the 5th episode might be starting point to that, where we reach the halfway of this series, and I'm really excited for it. Overall, I think this was the best episode so far, even though it did have little to no action or dragons, but it still presented the current situation of the kingdom and a significant progression with Rhaenyra's character. I just hope that we get more of Millie Alcock as Rhaenyra, but it is worthless to hope as per what story demands. With this sad yet useless hope, I conclude my review of the 4th episode. I know it is a bit shorter than usual, but I have expressed most of my thoughts in the previous reviews as well. Please do check it out. I hope you liked my review. Please do like and share this video. Please subscribe to my channel for more such content as I desperately need your support, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Until then, stay safe and keep binging.